look what I got for my birthday. 1, 2, 3. And not only that, check out how much. There's a 50 and another 50 and 100. 200 bucks. 200 bucks worth of JB vouchers. See, this is what happens when you get old, because people take sympathy on you. Anyway, we're going into the city. Get ready for warp speed, because off we go. I haven't decided which JB I'm going to yet.
Get into a car and drive to the other side.
You know, if you're driving in Melbourne, I would highly recommend you drive down the roads that don't have a tram line, because it's generally a little quicker. Fucking hell, trying to get a park in this city is bullshit. I think it'd be quicker to drive to Sydney than to get a cheap park here. But here's one. Yeah, at least it's a nice walk through the gardens, but I parked a million miles away. Alrighty, we're out of the park. It's a long way to walk when you got black jeans on a warmish sort of day. Well, here we are on Burke Street. I'm just walking down the middle of the road. And on this side, I think it is. Have a look. I just kicked off my shoes, and I've just come out of the city and I'm in the park. And I think this is Fitzroy Gardens. There. Oh, who's that? Hello, lady. Anyway, I did go to JB, as you can see. I'll show you what I got. Picked up bus 174 on Accent, and Accent are a great distributor. I think I would put them as like my second favourite distributor behind Umbrella Entertainment. I did pick up this Wim Wenders box set, and check out the price of it, $188. Very, very expensive. But bear in mind that some of these movies alone, particularly the Wim Wenders on film and the documentary, are I think about nearly $60 or something separate. So and I know Paris, Texas, for example, is about $33, so it's insanely expensive. But anyway, as you can see there, the films, I think you can see that. Sorry, I'm a bit disorganised, I'm not used to filming in parks. So yeah, I think that's a really nice box set, and to be quite honest, despite the price, I don't regret picking that up, particularly considering I never really paid for it. So there you go. Wave to the camera. Okay, well obviously I'm back at home now, and I'm going to show you a few new Blu-rays that I picked up quite cheaply, starting off with The Thing. The print quality on this one is actually quite good, and that is a personal favourite from the 80s, is John Carpenter's The Thing. Next is Dog Day Afternoon with Al Pacino. This is an absolute classic, and if you are a fan of Al Pacino, I'd strongly recommend you see this film. It's basically, I don't want to ruin it too much, but it's about a bank robbery gone wrong. Al Pacino at his finest. And I think one of the good things about this movie is how his character has an ambiguous sexuality, which I thought was very daring in the 70s. And Monty Python's The Life of Brian. I understand some people just don't get Monty Python, but I think this film is absolutely hilarious and is currently selling cheap in Australia as well. So there's a few new Blu-rays. Obviously I've got more than that, but that's just all I'm going to show for now. Well, I've been buying up big from the United States since the Aussie dollar hit parity with the US, and I've bought 3 here of Code Red releases. I'm going to start off with Beyond the Door, and I didn't realise this came in a slipcase, but it is, and so that's quite nice. Quite a nice release there from Code Red, I might add, with a few special features and stuff. The print looks okay. The audio is a bit limited, I guess you could say. I remember seeing this on VHS all those years ago, and I think I can show you the cover of it. Hang on. It was released as Behind the Door in this country, and that's the old Video Classics release, which I remember watching all those years ago. And the only thing I could remember about the movie was the bit where she's sort of floating through the air. Anyway, The Strangeness. Now, I first saw this on Xtro's channel. I haven't watched this yet, but that looks really interesting. And Trapped, which is a exploitation film. I've got the VHS of this one, but it's always good to support the Canadian exploitation movies that actually do make it to DVD. So I'm going to watch that one soon. The Beast in Space. Now, I can't show you the back of this one, but this is kind of like Borichik's The Beast, but it's set in outer space, and it's the most ridiculous, ludicrous, bloody movie, and it's best to see the XXX version. Now, some Aussies who are clever might know that these are two movies that were released on the Palace Vibrant label. Now, I've shown you a copy of this one, Nurses of the 407, on Palace Vibrant, and I've kind of been wanting to collect a whole series of Palace Vibrant titles on DVD. And look, there obviously a whole series of Vibrants were released back in the 80s, and I hope to one day, well, hope that they'll all get released on DVD. Nurses of the 407 is not bad. It's not fantastic, but Hot Legs, on the other hand, is absolutely fantastic. And the only problem with this particular disc is that the quality of the print is really, really poor. What would you call a New Zealand exploitation movie? Well, I was asking Ward this question, and the best we could come up with was Kiwi exploitation. And obviously, New Zealand doesn't have a huge film industry, I understand that, but there are some directors making some exploitation movies, of which Death Warmed Up is one. A guy called David Blythe, he's the director of these two movies. And another one he did in the 80s was called Angel Mine. I wanted to buy this one because the old VHS version in Australia is censored. And in fact, both of these films were cut in here, in this country, and also overseas, particularly this one. And I was reading on the internet that it took the director about 15 years to find an uncut version of his own movie, because the original print in New Zealand was accidentally destroyed. Last DVD for today is Gallipoli. This is a 2-disc edition which is selling very cheaply, and that's a steel book type of edition. It's a steel thing, that is. Directed by Peter Weir, this is an Australian film from the early 80s, set in World War I, and explores the friendship between these two soldiers. Absolutely brilliant film, in my opinion. It has some beautiful scenery of the Australian outback, and in my opinion, this is Mel Gibson's best performance. Let's have a look at some old Roadshows. I think I'm coming to the end of the Roadshows. Okay, so here we go. The old Roadshow of Gallipoli, which I've just shown you, of course. Another one with Mel Gibson, Attack Force Z, which you can get on DVD now. Another Aussie film starring Brian Brown is Far East, as you can see, another one on DVD. This is also on DVD, Heatwave. Fake Out with Telly Savalas and bloody Pia Zadora. Oh shit, that's cut to smithereens. Look at that, shocking. Cloud Dancer. There goes a truck going past. Cunt. Megaforce. Well, that's a cool cover there of High Roller. Yeah. I didn't mind Megaforce, can I just tell you? I thought it was alright. Shit. Target Eagle. Under Fire. Adjective noun. No, I'm just kidding. Deadly Impact. The Fifth Musketeer. Yellowbeard. This is an old sell-through. I'm for the Hippopotamus. I recently just picked that up from a second-hand store, by the way. King of the Mountain. That's an early Roadshow, by the way, one of their first from '82. King of the Gypsies. Liar's Moon. The Brink's Job. I've never watched that film before. I've got both of those as well. Alright, still going here. 21 Hours in Munich. Fucking... Oh shit. Oh, that just landed on my toe too. Gorky Park. A Small Town in Texas. It's not a bad little 80s, 70s action, whatever. Roadhouse 66. Truckin' Buddy McCoy. Lone Wolf McQuaid. Octagon, another early Roadshow release there in a black box, quite rare those ones. Kill and Kill Again. Mr. Mom, pretty shitty quality of that one. Another very shitty quality one is Union City with Deborah Harry. Ooh. Still going. Change of Seasons. Another early Roadshow there. Summer Fuckers, Lovers I mean. Better Late Than Never. Eddie and the Cruisers. Oh God, look at that. Absolutely shocking. Have to get a new cover for that. The Fifth Floor. Silkwood. A bit faded that cover by the looks. Oh. Impulse. I've got 2 copies of this somewhere. Another one of those somewhere. Philadelphia Experiment. Third last. Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai across the fucking the 8th dimension. Second last one. Priest of Love. Who directed that? I don't know. It's one of D.H. Lawrence novel, isn't it? Whatever. Finally, one of the best British films of the 80s in my opinion. 1984. Waiting for Blu-ray of that one. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. I'll see you in the next video where I will show you something that Mr. Account Without Rules sent me. Stay tuned. See you later. Sorry, I just fucked up big time. I've got 3 others sitting on the bench I forgot. Starflight 1, Night Patrol, and a fucking Never Say Never Again. I just forgot those ones. Alright, that's it for me. I'm off again, second time. Bye.